I hope everybody's doing well with this COVID thing going on in the world. We wanted to, like I mentioned before, inform you that we are glad to start the 2021 harvest season. It's going to be a 145-day harvesting season. We are starting this last week, and we want to inform you and the people of Belize that this is our sixth harvest season and that we have been growing 15% of the production every year. And we're here contributing on the economics of Belize, like the Prime Minister mentioned. We are sharing the same thoughts about increasing the economy and pumping up the economy of Belize to be able to go through these difficult times. Okay?
Thank you all. Good morning. Thank you all for being here for us. Thank you for your time, and thank you for giving us the time to share our excitement about our new harvest season of 2021. We are very excited about it. For us, it's a new banner year where we are expecting between 15 to 20% increase in production volumes. We also thank God and Belize and the government for the opportunity of doing this new harvest, and we hope this season is with zero accidents. All the team in Santander is very excited and prepared for this challenge. We have had some delays at the beginning of the year because of a lot of rains that delay us quite some days. But right now we are starting the season, and we are expecting some production figures that maybe we can share it in. I'm gonna share it in the screen.
While David is doing that, please allow me to say good morning to all of you. Thanks very much for accepting the invitation. We're hoping that you guys are excited as we are, considering we look at our growth on an annual basis. And as Jose said earlier, this is our sixth year. And with that in place, we're super excited each year. It's amazing how much we grow. And in such, we always try to invite you guys to witness that growth with us. And this year is no different. So Santander Sugar Group is here. We keep on growing in leaps and bounds. And it's definitely something that we feel that you guys can run with and create good news for the country. So thank you all for being with us. And the head table is Jose Rodriguez, who is the CEO of Santander, and David Rodriguez, who is the CFO. And of course, no question necessary, David is the younger brother, as he often says, but they are brothers, and they are owners of Santander Sugar Group. So we're really happy that you guys can share with us this morning as we present to you all that we have planned for 2021, and definitely look and see how we're gonna get this done.
Wait, sorry, we are just having some.
You're not hearing me.
I'm not allowed to put a report here, so.
Sorry, guys. This is still kind of new to us. We're having our own little technical glitches, but we're gonna survive it.
Normally we use Teams, so we can use in the time that we're putting the presentation in. We can use the time to answer some questions if you have something that you want to know.
Hello, this is Aaron Humes from Breaking Belize News. I imagine this is probably going to be answered in the course of the presentation, but I'd like to know in terms of the amount of the production estimate, if you will, and where exactly it's coming from, and also in terms of the expanded markets for sugar on the back of that decision to settle the case between Belize and St. Kitts and Nevis, and then the planned lawsuit against CARICOM itself and Trinidad and Tobago for importing brown sugar through the back door, no?
Hi, gentlemen, just quickly, our colleague Paul says he's been in the waiting room to be let into the Zoom for a while now. Can someone kindly let him in?
Okay. Hay alguien esperando.
Okay, sure.
So for answering your question, the production estimate for this year is 750,000 metric tons of sugarcane. The estimate of sugar production is 75,000 metric tons of sugar. Estimate for molasses production is 30,000 metric tons of molasses. The electricity production, we're gonna send to the grid close to 38 million kilowatt hours of renewable energy produced here in Belize. We hired, our labor force is 750 people, direct jobs. We have 45% of the total sugarcane that we grind comes from farmers around the sugar mill. 55% is produced by the sugar mill. We hire people to make different contracts, different Belizean companies to do some harvest, some transportation, and some other works that are done in the operation.
We are very excited about our cane grower program. Right now, they represent 45% of our total cane that we are grinding, and we are promoting more and more cane growers to plant cane and contribute to be part of our harvest and our cane grower program. So we are very excited about that. They are very important for us, and I think it's helping a lot the local economy to develop and get more jobs and be benefited from the industry that is here in the Cayo district. The other good, the other news that we have is that this year we are increasing and expanding our export terminal in Big Creek. We are expanding our storage capacity in molasses, and later in the year we are planning to expand our sugar storage capacity, so we can dispatch larger vessels that are going to benefit not only Belize but all the stakeholders in our industry.
Okay, that's an excellent summary. Thanks very much. I think I just missed the number of employees, though, that you said. The total amount of employees employed by the company.
What I mentioned was 750 people form the family of Santander in total, direct jobs. Yes, Julius. Julius está pidiendo la mano.
Hello.
Jules.
Joe.
Hi. Good morning, guys. First of all, Ms. Burke, please mute your mic because when any song made at your end is disrupting the video feed. Yeah.
Okay, I shall
Yeah.
do so.
All right. Yes. So thanks, guys. So you mentioned that it's a slightly late start due to the weather. Could you make a comment on how it's been an extremely rainy, the end of last year was extremely rainy. The year started out with a drought. How has climate change or this unusual seasonality, how has it affected your meeting your production projections?
Okay. Yes, with this 2021 was a year really difficult in all the aspects, not only just for us, but for the world. Specifically in the weather conditions at during the harvest season in the end of May, We have some rains that were very difficult to to finish the harvest with good numbers. We got more than 250 millimeters in 3 days, and that caused a lot of damage to the quality of the cane. And after that, we had to finish the harvest, all the delays that we have during those days, and because the conditions in the field were very bad. Then we got the two hurricanes at the end of the year with the major floodings that we have seen in, some people mentioned 50 years, the worst floodings that we have had it here in Cayo. For, in my experience, I have been here 10 years. It has been the worst over the 10 years that we have been here. Luckily, the cane was already big, so the damages we estimated that are going to be between 3 and 5% of the production. But if these hurricanes would have come before, really the damages will have been very, very big. So right now, we are overcoming that situation. Like my brother said, that we had some delays on the harvest initiation season because the humidity conditions were very bad. The roads infrastructure were really messed up during those two hurricanes, and the areas were very, very humid. At this moment, we have been blessed by the good weather. The sun has been shining, and we have been improving the conditions in the harvest in the field. So we are back on track.
Okay, so if I can understand, just to narrow it down, you would say that last year, due to the weather, you were 3 to 5% off your projections. Is that correct?
No. Repeat again.
You would say that last year, how much percent were you off your projected production and output?
Okay, last year we have, at the end of the year, we have a very bad quality of the juices of the cane due to those rains that I'm mentioning in May, and the reduction on production was how much? Like,
yeah, the thing is we have to extend the harvest season until the month of July, and in May it start raining, so we have a decrease of like 20% in the quality of the juices in that month. So maybe in that month we grinded 100,000 metric tons of cane. So we have a reduction of 15 to 20% of that cane that we grind at the final month. And what Jose was referring to is that the flooding that happened in November, that is going to affect between 3 to 5% in the production yields of 2021 harvest.
Okay, good. I understand. So now you all are, from a weather perspective, you're in a unique spot because the end of 2020 was very wet. November was one of the wettest Novembers on record. And so you said that you've had to push back the opening of your season a little, but your season ends right at the start of the rainy season. And you know, you have so you have very few dry months to operate. Three and a half dry months to operate. Is that enough for you to have a successful sugar crop?
okay, we have been, since we have been growing in the areas that have been planted for this sugar mill, the harvest season has been getting longer. Normally, we will have to start on January and we will have to finish at mid-June. Those are the months that we can operate, even though May we have a little bit of rain because of the dry season that is finishing. The fields we can manage to harvest on those conditions. So we can go from January to June without a problem in the harvest. And that's what we have planned over the years to be harvesting during those months. This year, especially because of the conditions that we had in November and December, we have to delay it for between 2 and 3 weeks, the starting of the season that we were planning at the beginning. But at the end of this at the end of January, we started the season with a little bit of mud, but we managed to be able to start the season fixing the roads and all the infrastructure that we need. During this season, we obviously want to mill as much cane as we can during these good dry days and leave the least possible to the end of the season. The plan is to finish between the 20th and the 25th of June. On those days, we shouldn't have any problem with the rain. The problems come when the rainy season establishes, that is in July. Like last year, we harvest all July.
Okay.
If I, go ahead.
I just want to share. I think I can share the small presentation that we have. Yes. So okay, here is just a panoramic picture about the location of the sugar mill and the plantation that are near the factory. Our key data, as we were mentioning, is for 2021 harvest, is 750,000 metric tons of cane. That's approximately a 60% increase compared to 2020 harvest season. 75,000 metric tons of sugar, 30% increase in production. That's basically what Jose mentioned about that the conditions in the cane sugar content are better in January than at the end of the harvest. So this starting earlier is going to improve our sugar output for this season. We also expect close to 30,000 metric tons of molasses. And we expect to dispatch to the national grid 37.5 million kilowatt hour. As we told you, between 750 employees, our workforce, of those, 85% plus are Belizeans this year. Then we have a map just so you can locate yourself where the sugar mill is here. This is in the Western Highway, close to Cotton Tree Bump. It's more or less the location to the north of the sugar mill, where we have the plantations and the distribution that we have. That is 45% of our cane comes from independent cane growers and landowners that lease to the sugar mill. Here we have a photo of how the front of the sugar mill, how we have the reception of the cane, and we have the milling house and the boiler in front of us. And finally, we have here a picture about the export terminal that we have in Big Creek. We currently are expanding the molasses tank that is here and putting a second molasses tank beside the other one. And we are going to expand later this year the sugar warehouse to the north part of what we currently have. Here we can observe that last year was a vessel where we were loading. Our loading capacity is approximately 4,500 metric tons per day. So we are very excited to increase and have an export terminal that would allow larger vessels to come and take the sugar that is going to improve yields and improve price conditions for our company.
Getting better, this terminal is possible because the owners of the port, of the Big Creek port, have invested a considerable amount of money to make the port deeper, so larger vessels can come and we can compete in the world market with better prices of the vessels that can come here to Belize. And that's not only for the sugar, but for other crops as well and other products.
I have a question.
Yes.
How, being that you already had a settlement from St. Kitts out of court, how do you feel about Trinidad not willing to do the same?
Well, Trinidad has been giving waivers for sugar from Colombia, Guatemala, or other countries that they can import the sugar without paying the tariff that is established by all the Caribbean countries. We are fighting with, along with the other sugar mill and the government to be able to make those tariffs that are already a law to make them happen here in the market, in the Caribbean market, because that sugar is making that we cannot sell to them because they are bringing cheaper sugar from other countries.
I think first we need to mention that all the efforts that in conjunction with all the sugar industries in the Caribbean through the Sugar Association of the Caribbean and the support mainly from the Belizean government, this was a huge achievement in regards of illegal sugar coming to the CARICOM market. So I think this is a first step forward in contributing to enhance the apply of the CET in sugars that are produced outside the CARICOM market. I think Trinidad slowly is gonna have to follow the law, and we have been expanding our market and our sales a lot in that market. We still have they are reluctant to accept it, especially in white sugar, because they are buying refined sugar from, especially for beverage companies that come outside the CARICOM. We are in a process of trying to substitute that sugar with the plantation white, and I think the process is advancing in a very good manner. So I think step by step, we have been moving forward. Our market in the CARICOM has expanded, and we are supplying the brown sugar that Trinidad consumes. We are supplying it with the local producers in the CARICOM. So I think we are in a better shape that we were in the past.
Good morning. Buenos dias.
Good morning.
Thank you for the invitation. Alberto Veo, CTV3 News, based in Corozal District and Orange Rock District. Can you speak about your export market and what are some of the forecasts, not only for this production year, but future production year? How are you looking to expand that export market?
Yes, mainly, as you know, we mainly export to the European market. Around 70% of our production goes to the EU market and the UK market, and 30% goes to the CARICOM market. This year, I think it's important to mention that past administration didn't help a lot in supporting the region regarding the Brexit and the autonomous trade quota, ATQ, that the UK government gave for sugar coming outside the ACP countries and the European Union. They authorized in last October 260,000 metric tons of sugar that can enter the UK without paying any tax. That impact was very strong in the CARICOM market, because it reduced the amount of sugar coming from this origin that goes into the UK. Right now, we have been working together with the new authorities. They are helping us a lot and doing the necessary lobbying to improve this, and so that the UK doesn't approve this for 2022.
This is I want to add that this is a very important aspect for all the industry in Belize, all the sugar industry in Belize, because more than 80% of the total production of the two sugar mills here in Belize has been going to UK, and with them authorizing the entrance of free tax sugar from other countries like Brazil or other countries that are mainly basically dumping the sugar over there, it's something that will affect us very, very strong. We will have to work together with the government and the other sugar mill in the country to be able to stand against those measurements, because those things will affect us a lot, and the industry will have to receive that hit this year.
Is it your view that the bilateral negotiations and international lobbying is the only way that issue can be sorted out, ensuring that the market is fair and level?
Yeah, definitely. The voice of the government is heard with the authorities, so definitely it's going to help a lot to do that if we do a joint effort with the government and make the necessary pressure to the UK government.
So this decision is not a permanent decision. It's a decision that will be in place this year and could be ratified for next year and so on. So whatever we can do together to stand against that permission of entering sugar to the UK without any taxes, we should do a joint effort with the authorities, all of the industry.
You discussed earlier about your cane growers program. You said you're looking to expand that program. In the north, the growers benefit a lot from the fair trade program, which provides a lot of support to their planting and to their delivery. Is there a program that you foresee your growers can benefit from in the near future?
At this moment, we don't have that facility. What we do is that we help our growers internally in a way that we give them better conditions on planting, or give them seed, and some of them we have financed some of the planting over a 5-year period, so they can get into the crop. But we haven't got those facilities in our group.
Well, we are sharing all the technology, the knowledge, and in some cases, we go and make the service to them and finance them through the first 5 years of the crop, so they can establish and start producing good yields and have some profitability starting from the first year of their plantation.
Just final from me, if you can speak in terms of the quality of cane that you produce on a normal basis, not necessarily just last year and the impacts of the weather, but when it comes to TCTS and the variety of cane that is produced in your area, how would you be able to give us information on that?
Okay, we have been using varieties that are maybe not so good adapted to our conditions. So in that matter, we have to improve a lot. We are working in a very strong variety program to be able to establish the right varieties for our conditions, which are very different from the north conditions. At this moment, we don't have the best varieties for our conditions. The production of sugar per acre is not the best. We have to improve a lot on that.
But our yields that we have been achieving here in average are above 30 tons per acre of production. and the sugar content it's approximately 9.5% of sugar content.
So production per acre of sugar cane is good, but content on sugar per ton of cane has to be improved.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Okay.
If I may, I hadn't quite finished. So two things. Jules Vasquez from Channel 7, sorry to not identify earlier. First of all, did you all sign a power purchase agreement with BL? I recall a press conference by the Public Utilities Commission in October of last year where they were basically forcing BL to sign a power purchase agreement with your company. And I know that after that it went to court. Where are we with that?
Okay, first of all, we were not forcing anybody.
I didn't say you were. I said it was the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission, which it basically had to compel BL to sign a power purchase agreement with Santander.
Mm-hmm. Well, what happened is that when we did the bidding process in 2013, there was some conditions and some plans of growing in the company. The PPA was signed under those conditions. Basically, were two phases. One phase of 20 million kilowatt hours at what price? The excess of that energy was at another price. And then a second phase of 40 million kilowatts hours for the grid. And again, in a certain price, and then the excess in another price. What we found out here after 5 years of production, that we can do an intermediate phase of production of energy, which the grid can benefit of because it's renewable energy produced here in Belize. And but we were not incentivized to do it because the extra energy was paid lower. So we presented the numbers to BL and PUC to be able to fix an arrangement that will benefit everybody in a sense that we can invest some more money to be able to produce more without reaching the second phase. And for that, obviously, we need to have a return. So we presented the numbers. We agree on some numbers. We went forward, and then the process were stuck in that moment.
But the the Public Utility Commission made their analysis, and they got a ruling based on the numbers and rate of return and what is better for the country. And they make a ruling with a new set of tariffs. Do that, you know that this year we are close to get to the 40 million. So at the end, was something good for the country at a good price, agreed with all the parties involved. This is energy producing Belize. You don't have to get a US currency to pay to other generators. So at the end, it was something good, and it got stuck between two entities, and it's affecting us and affecting our suppliers and our investment because we didn't achieve the price level that was mandatory by the PUC last season.
And we are still waiting for that to be solved.
Right. Okay, and I will say, just as a footnote, that it is an exceptional agreement because it is one of the only power purchase agreement with a foreign-owned company, although I know the company is local, that is paid in Belize dollars, as you alluded to, no? Because others are paid in US dollars. We import energy from Newfoundland, from our river, but that is another story. So let me not start on that. I wanted to ask about the Minister of Agriculture, Jose Abelardo Josemai. He has been in the past sometimes critical of Santander. We know that he's a farmer with BSI, and he has been very critical of ASR as well. What is Santander's relation right now with Mr. Mai, and how are you all working with this new Ministry of Agriculture?
Well, we always try to work hand by hand with the Minister of Agriculture. Either way, it's one government or the other one. We do want to work together in the benefit of the agriculture of Belize and the growth of the production here in Belize. Right now, we have always have a good relationship with the governments, with both parties. Yeah.
Would you speak about? You said that the variety of cane in Belize is not optimal for yields. Yeah, it does not give the optimal sugar content, I believe. Forgive me if I may have fudged some of the science. But are there other markets that you all are looking at? Where might you all bring cane from that is optimal for this climate?
Well, we have been working with the government entities to bring varieties from all over the world, basically. Brazil is the largest producer in the world and has very good rendiments of sugar per ton. We have been bringing varieties from Brazil. We are using varieties that are already established in Belize. We're making the trials on those varieties too. There are varieties that has been here in Belize for many years. Other varieties that we need to bring are from Louisiana that has conditions similar to what we have in our operation, with very heavy clays, humid soils with very low slope. So we need to bring those varieties. We haven't been able to bring them yet, but we have some varieties here that we have been working with and making the trials over 4 years now. And we have very good results on 5 varieties that I think are gonna help the production, not only for us, but for the entire country.
Okay, and then if you could speak about, finally from me, forgive me if I don't know the exact number of years since your first harvest, but I want to say that it's 5 years that you're going into your 6th year. I want to think that it's your 6th year of harvest, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my question is, you know, there's a lot said about FDI, foreign direct investment in Belize, and that the ease of doing business in Belize, we are ranked very low. I believe by now we're probably ranked at 140. And you know, it's not always easy doing business in Belize to get permits, all this type of thing. If you had to quintessentialize your experience, I know you had a very rocky start, very controversial start, but if you would just speak about the past 6 years, if I'm right, that you all have been doing a harvest, how has your experience been? How has your rate of return on investment been? And if you knew then what you now know, would you do it again?
Very, very good question. I'm going to answer it like this. I came to Belize with a lot of will to work and to do things, and with a lot of money. I'm left with the will. Other than that, I have invested everything that we have to get this production and this investment to be successful. We have been have difficult years, and we haven't reached the point to have a profit yet, but we're very close to achieving it, thanks to the hardworking team that we have formed here in Belize, and the growth that the company has been experienced over the last years.
I think, as you know, any greenfield project that starts like that has a lot of uncertainty in some, or especially in the timeline, because one thing is what you plan at the beginning, and another thing is when you execute it and all the hurdles and obstacles that you find in the way. So I think we had some delays because of a lot of things that had happened. The good news is that we have been serving our debt. Mainly the Belizean banks are the most of our debt. We have been serving our debt, and we have reduced our debt since we started around 10%, and we have been paying on time our capital payments and our interest payments. The good news is that the company this year is entering the first year of achieving its financial independence and stability, and it's going to allow to the future to build and start building a profit for the sponsors that have been supporting the company since the beginning in any shortfalls of cash flow that the company have had. So I think the experience has been amazing. I think we have a lot of stories of success from our employees and our team that makes you say it's worth it to be here. We are very grateful, and the good thing, as I'm telling you, is that we are entering the first year of financial stability and sustainability for our company, and I think that is good for the economy, for the country, and obviously for all the stakeholders that are involved in this company.
I want to add to that the group of lenders have helped us a lot. Our providers also have helped us a lot, and our team. It's incredible how this team has come together here in Belize. We have learned of the experiences, and we are walking forward and getting better and better every day.
As just a small follow-up to that, because that is my last, but just as a small follow-up to that, would you all speak about the demand for sugar? We know that COVID made a lot of cheap food more popular. All over the world, these ramen noodles became scarce because they were in such demand, because people needed cheap food. Here in Belize, another importer told me that they've never sold so much chopped ham. That's the canned ham. Have you all seen any increase in the global demand or the local demand for sugar, because it's basically an affordable sweetener?
Well, you know that locally we're not allowed to sell any of our sugar yet. I hope that changes over the years. In the world, consumption has been hit hard last year. Lower consumptions were caused to the COVID. The prices went down because the productions were good in the biggest producer countries, but the demand was coming down. We hope that this year the world overcome this COVID crisis economically and health, and talking about the health, and we expect that the consumption will catch up and go up again.
I agree with you that sugar is the less expensive source of energy in the world. So I think in the past few months, in general, the commodities have been getting better prices. And what we foresee for this, when the vaccine starts to catch up in the different developed economies and consumption concentration places, that consumption is going to start rising, and I think that's going to benefit sugar prices, and we hope that impacts in a good way the prices, especially in the European market and in the Caribbean market that was hit very hard, because tourism it's the motor of their economies and consumption. So it was a hard year last year because of that.
Excuse me, if I'm allowed to spring off a question from Jules. His line of questioning on the issue of not having made profit. Is this what was projected? In the beginning phase, is this part of the company's plans? Is it part of their expectations? And what needs to happen for the company to become profitable? Is it that the incremental production needs to reach a certain point, or is it that the the sugar production needs to reach a certain point, or you have to reach a certain export point? What it is that needs to happen, and by when do you believe that will take place?
Okay, two things, and also following the question before is that here in Belize, the investments they cost more than what you expect. You make some numbers at the beginning, and at the end of the day or the years, it will cost more than what you plan. One is that extra cost that we encounter here. The other thing is the production levels. The production levels that we were expected were higher than what we found. I think that we're gonna get them over the years. The other thing was that most of the areas that we thought were ready to plant around the sugar mill are under another crop, and we have to start doing some other things to be able to get the farmers to plant cane and to decide to change their crop, their traditional crop that they were using. Still, we are working on that, but we are basically 2 years behind of what we planned at the beginning to be on the level of production that we need, not only in production per area, but in total. These operations, they need at least to have close to 1 million tons of sugarcane to be able to be financially stable. So we have been working on that. We have overcome that problem. The areas that has to be planted over the next 2 or 3 years are already there, and I think that we are going in a good direction. We, like my brother said, we overcome the difficult point of reaching above 750,000 tons, which make us financially established. And from now on is something that we have to get more efficient, more productive, and depending on the price of the market also.
I think, as Jose says, this is a combination of factors, but one of the main factor is achieving the critical volumes of production that makes us cost efficient in compare of other industries in the world. But a big hit was that in September of 2017, some regulation changed in the EU market that hit drastically the price down. Obviously, we at that point in time, we already invested and were here producing sugar. So at the end, you need to have a matrix, a combination of prices that makes you sustainable, and that specific event affected us and impact the company's cash flow very hard. We have been trying to adapt to the new conditions. We invested in a direct consumption packing plant, so we can access, instead of only raw sugar, we can access the consumer directly, producing brown sugar for direct consumption. So we have to adapt to the conditions that the market has thrown to us, and that's what we believe, that we are entitled to access of all the markets that the country offers, because we are a Belizean company established in Belize and producing employment and income for the country. So that's the way we foresee, and I think in the future we see us accessing all the markets that Belize has access to, and we want to go and get new markets if possible, with the help of the government, such as Mexico or other markets that are very interesting for Belize.
Would you say that access to the local market is critical, fundamental to your viability?
Well, at the
I
end,
would definitely say yes. Sorry, guys. Let me chime in here. I would definitely say yes in terms of our presence here, not necessarily based on volumes of consumption, but we are a Belize company. As what Jose said, most of what we do is done in our local currency, we contribute greatly to the economy, and it will definitely help us to put that face to Santander, by being able to operate within the very same jurisdiction that we have built and invested in. So for us, it's more significant. It will lend to that, to the need for us to really be recognized here fully. So it's from that standpoint that I think it's extremely crucial for us to have our product on the shelves. I think for me personally, it's going to be one of those moments when you walk in and you feel most proud because you can associate with that particular product directly. So that would definitely be a major push for us. We continue to grow, and not having market access as yet in Belize will definitely not prevent that from happening. But at the end of the day, I feel it's extremely significant for us to have that face here, and people who work for us, I know that the workers are extremely proud when they can take home some sugar from work for their own consumption, and they can say, I participated in producing this, so it's kind of like from that standpoint. As I said, the volumes consumed in Belize is small, but it can be significant just by giving us that pride, knowing that we're here, we're appreciated, and we work hard at what we do. So that would be putting that icing on the cake for us.
I think it's very important to rise the level, especially quality level. We have been building a brand and through the Caribbean, and we have had very good acceptance. So I think the final consumer in Belize is just gonna get benefit if the quality gets standardized and labeling, and there's a lot of things and an improvement that can be done for the final consumer at the end. That is the one that is gonna benefit from this.
You see any anomaly in the fact that there is this great effort to get the sugar on the regional market, but on the local market, you don't see it?
Yeah.
One reason for that being is we do have restrictions under which we operate, and those restrictions are enshrined in having a DPA. And what that prevents us from doing is, to a large extent, sell locally. It's not to say that without proper waivers and authorization and great consideration from the decision makers, that is an impossible feat. And believe me, it might seem that we've been quiet on that issue, but we keep knocking at doors, we keep penning concerns, we keep basically evaluating ways in which we can actually get that support for our product to be in the local market. So it's not to say that we have not been making efforts. When we look again at what's consumed in Belize versus what is consumed in the rest of the world, be it the region, be it the world in general, we have to sell. We have to move the product that we make. And in order for us to do that, we have to focus holistically. And don't get me wrong, no means of saying that we are not focused locally. We are. It's just for us to keep at it and to ensure that that decision comes sooner rather than later, that at least we can have our small portion of the Belize market.
And listen, we don't have to think of Santander as a competition for BSI or the sugar cane farmers in the north. We have to see the industry as a whole. We have to work together to be able to get better and put the Belize sugar in the highest standard qualities and production. So we have to do it as an industry. And we have, our idea is not to compete with the North or any of that. We want to work together, and we want to make the industry as a whole a better one and a more competitive worldwide.
Thank you very much. That's it for me.
Thank you, guys. Somebody else wants to ask another question? And we want to open an invitation to whenever is proper for you guys, invite you to the sugar mill, to the operation. I know that with these COVID restrictions it's difficult, but we are open for any time that you want to come and check us out anytime.
And we're very happy to say that from the last time you guys visited to now, I am certain that you will see the improvements made. You will recognize our growth and know that it's a serious investment that we keep propelling forward. And the invitation is open. You can always feel free to touch base whenever you have that opportunity and you want to come on out there. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime.
I want to add to the general public that we are going to be bringing cane through the George Price Highway between the areas of France Eddy, and please be careful with the trucks because they are big trucks and they will be bringing cane to the sugar mill through that area. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.
Yes, thank you guys very much for your
Thanks
time.
very much, guys.
Much appreciated. Have a blessed day.